Hey, welcome, Battleground Believers. It's so nice to be back creating content like this. And we want to thank you so much for being a part of the audience. We know we kind of went through a tough time where we didn't put out very much content, and we're very sorry for that. But tonight, I have a special guest, my dad. And as you can see, as you look around, we're not in the Two Bar Blues studio. We are very connected with Randy still, and his studio is amazing. He can do music, he can do podcasts, stand up comedy, anything you need him to record. Now, if you're interested in working with the Two Bar Blues, I always mess that up, studio, reach out to battlegroundbelievers.com and we'll give you his contact information. So just be aware. I just wanted to make a note of that. I also want to say a shout out to Freedom by Truth Ministries. Keith Pascalone came in the studio and interviewed with us, and they got a great ministry going on out there at in Elkhart, and trying to partner with them and promote their stuff as well as Andrew Talamentez is. We're getting ready to have a men's retreat that Andrew put together, and we're planning on being there at Sunrise Church off Illinois Road. It sits at the corner of Illinois and Hadley. No, Illinois and Scott. Now, if you're not from this town or anything, you're not going to know where that is. But if you are from Fort Wayne,
Google it.
yeah, Google it. It's called Sunrise Church, Sonrse. And actually, they have a website called the Brave and the Bold Retreat, and that's how you sign up for it. But I want to say a shout out to them. Battleground Believers is planning on being there and shooting content and meeting people and being a part of the great ministry that they got going on. But tonight, this is more about interviewing you and finding about your life. I know some things about you, um, stories I heard, and actually through this process, I've learned some things about you I didn't know. And you not that you became a Christian, but you really got serious about your faith not too long ago, correct?
Right.
Yep.
About 3 years ago.
So about 3 years ago, you really came in,
Back.
but came back. But when I was a younger man and I was in the Army, you were in the Marine Corps. Uh, I looked to you to leadership, and you led me through a lot of a lot of things. And so, knowing some of the stories some of the stuff that I had been shared either through my grandmother or through you, life for you as a young man wasn't easy, right? We
Right.
can look back now because when you talk about it, you say, "Hey, it was a real blessing because it drove me to be the man I am."
Hmm.
But in the moment, it wasn't a blessing,
No.
right?
Right.
And so tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and let you kind of tell your story. Now, be aware I'm going to interject, like if I want some clarification or ask you some questions. I don't mean to interrupt you, but just I want to make sure that if I don't understand it, and I know you, they're not going to understand it.
Yeah.
So I might ask some clarification. Um, but thank you so much for taking the time to be here and making time for this podcast. Okay.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and I know you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this, and I'm very proud of you for what you're doing in this. It takes a lot of courage to get up and do what you're doing, and you do it quite well. And we're here to support you. And hopefully, I can give you a gift that my mother gave me when I interviewed her. And one of the shortcomings I see is I didn't do this with my father. Through my father's death, it's like I wished I would have done that with Dad to learn a lot of things about him and ask him questions. Something that would be a jewel for the family for the rest of their lives, but we have that with our mother. So it's really good to be here and to share some insights to you and to your audience. And no matter who's out there that's really facing some hard times, you can overcome it. Attitude is everything.
Again, and Battleground Believers, our tagline is telling his story through your story. And so tonight, we want, over the next however many episodes this ends up being, we want you to tell God's story
Hmm.
through your story, right? Of disappointment, sadness, hurt, all the way
Hmm.
through, the man you are now. You were a
Yeah.
Marine for 30 years, very successful. You left probably at the highest level that you were able to. There was not another job you could have taken that would have been higher than what you were doing.
Right. Right.
Okay, and I'll let you later on. We'll share where you were and as much of that as you're willing to share.
Hmm.
And got a degree,
Hmm.
have a good marriage. You know what I mean?
GED and then a degree.
Yeah, GED degree, and then got a college
Yeah.
degree, and
Yeah.
um, just grown from everything that happened as a young man
Hmm.
to the guy that you are today. And uh,
Very blessed. Very
but
fortunate.
anyway, we're going to go ahead and we'll kick this off, and I'm just going to turn it over to you, and I want you to kind of talk about. Let's start wherever you want. If you
Childhood.
your childhood and share some stuff about your childhood, so we can kind of see like, hey, who were you? Like, because when we're children, I think that's where we find out who we are, right? Like I have some distinct memories of things that happened to me as a child,
Hmm.
and they still affect me today.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think that's most people. And being able to get past to some of that stuff that happened when you're a child is kind of the key. And sometimes some of those hurts go so deep that it takes the power of the Lord Jesus Christ to break those
Chain. Yeah.
those chains
Hmm.
and to forgive. Because
Hmm.
I know I have some people that hurt me as a child, and in my mind I think I've forgiven them, but that doesn't mean every so often it doesn't come back up, and then I grab that anger back, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll stop talking, which I know my wife's over there going, yes. Uh, there are people in the room this time, so especially we're in my living room, and we do have people in the room. So if you hear a bunch of background noise, it's because they're hopefully they're laughing if we make a joke. So, uh, Rick,
Here we
Dad,
go.
Father, tell me all the stuff about you.
Well, I'm the oldest of four children. Have a brother Randy, Debbie, and Deanna.
Those
The
are Debbie and Deanna are sisters.
other sisters. And we come from a normal family, lived out in the country in Albany, Indiana. We had a beautiful ranch home. And like, sadly, like so many families that experience even today, it ended in divorce. Uh, we didn't know it was coming, and everything changed immediately in the way we lived. We went from a beautiful home in the country to a shack in the town of Albany that was right next to the water company. So that's kind of the framework of our childhood. But when we lived out in the country, we being my brother, always fought for dad's attention. And our Christianity began as little children. Mom was really in the Catholic Church, and we would go to church every Sunday. Dad would lay on the couch listening to Marty Robbins' Gunfighter's Ballad. That album, I have that album just because of that reason. And we would go to church, and we wouldn't understand a word that was being said. We were in catechism, we were learning prayers, we were getting our hands smacked because we couldn't remember our prayers. We didn't learn how you fold your hands. So that was our first um, brush with Christianity, was the Catholic Church, but it was disjointed because we were like 7, 8, 9 years old,
Yeah,
but we were in that discipline of
going to church.
religion.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, kind of help me, Brad. I'm like,
Okay, so you just alluded to the fact that my grandmother and my grandfather got a divorce, and when
yeah,
that
mhm,
happened, you went from for the most part, a happy home, a happy family, or what
yeah,
perceived as that.
and it happened abruptly because think it was 1967. We all went to Canada to the World's Fair, 1967 Expo, 1967, and we were camping, we were traveling, and there are distant memories of that, which was a wonderful time.
I saw videos of that at Debbie's.
Yeah.
She had
Oh,
videos.
did she?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
well,
guys,
many a
you weren't there. It was Deanna, Debbie, me, and there's a slew of other people, and Randy. And Randy kept saying every time he goes, "Oh, look, Dad's in the video. He's going to be gone soon." He kept saying that.
yeah, because when we came back, Dad was gone, and that was how it happened. At the same time, this was going on just a few years prior. Mom lost her father in an automobile accident, and then Mom's mom was battling alcoholism. So Mom's fighting all these forces with her mother, trying to raise her sister, my aunt, who's 2 months younger than me, because when Mom was pregnant for me, her mom was pregnant for Shane.
Yeah, good. Well, yeah, because
It was the 50s. How that happened, who knows? So all these things mom's wrestling with, and all of a sudden her marriage is just, you know,
gone.
adultery affair on dad's part, and just exploded. And us kids become rebellious, and especially me, very troubled from it because I blamed everything on my mom.
I think
And
most guys,
yeah, they do, and that's very wrong. It's very wrong. Mother's a gift, and I abused it. I mean, I was brutal.
yeah, but I, I mean, I think I probably did the same thing. I idolized you, even though I lived with my mother,
Hmm.
and my mom's doing everything in the world to take care of me, and I'm just like, Dad is great, and you suck.
Yeah, and
You
she
know,
didn't deserve that. And
yeah.
Cheryl, if you're watching, forgive me. I'm very sorry.
Well, that was my fault.
Yeah,
That's not so much.
I know,
I
but
just think
still,
boys. That's how most boys
yeah,
do that. I think
yeah.
that's part of what happens as a
Hmm.
child. I know my kids probably felt the same way because I heard stories about them saying, "Hey, wish
Hmm.
living with dad would be so much better," even though
Hmm.
you know their mother took care of
Yeah.
everything they needed as a kid. So, but anyway, so now we're moving through. Dad leaves. You guys move into a shack, a nasty place, right? And are
Hmm.
you and Randy still
Oh
fighting? I mean,
yeah,
how are you the
we're
four of you getting along, or
yeah
you're just
we're
not?
Deanna and Debbie and Deanna were kind of like the lone, and Randy and I were always combative. And I remember being in this shack across from Albany Waterworks, and Mom broke out the dictionary and tried to give us the Webster definition of a divorce. And this is a story I, never heard, and it's really quick. Is Mom's telling us about divorce, and we have radiator heat, and it's cold, and Randy starts making gestures, and I give Randy the middle finger. And Mom sees me do that. Mom takes me in the back and literally grabs a bar of soap and starts washing my mouth out with soap. Well, I thought I was being brilliant and had my teeth like this. So Mom grabs my nose like this. And when she did, I opened my mouth and Mom shoved that bar of soap in my mouth. And you can see the teeth marks on it, right? Randy didn't get in any trouble. The best of my memory, it was all me.
Right. Well, you're the one who
So
got caught flipping them off.
yeah, but he started it. And Deb and Deanna are just sitting there crying. And I think Debbie said, "I hate you, Mom." And again, I could be wrong on this. We're talking, this was 1967, maybe early 68.
Mhm.
So times were very different back then.
Oh yeah. Well, and you guys are
Yeah,
children. Your concept of what's going on
yeah.
is dad's gone,
Hmm.
mom's not. Mom must have sent him away.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's misunderstanding. But my grandmother, Grandma Judy, uh, when we talked, she never those memories. You know what I mean? She never looked, at least to me, about that.
Hmm.
She loved you guys.
Yeah, Mom was a saint. Mom is mothers are a foundation of every family. Although Christ is the bedrock, the mothers are amazing. Um, just had a thought that when you were born, I know we're jumping up, but we're in the hospital and Mom is there, and Mom and I go downstairs to get something in the cafeteria, and somehow we're notified that your mother is getting ready to deliver you. I am paralyzed. We're walking up the steps, trying to walk up so slow, and your grandmother Judy is pushing me up these steps. Like, I don't want to go, Mom. I'm 17 now
Mhm.
because we were 16, and we get up there, and just this beautiful baby, and I was paralyzed, like, oh my God, it's a life.
Yeah, that you're in
you know
charge of.
yeah, you and your
Uh,
mother and I, yeah, with the help of family, immense help.
okay, well, we're
And
gonna get there.
yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
didn't mean to jump ahead,
No,
but that was just a funny story
you're
where your grandma Judy's pushing me up the ladder while I'm paralyzed. Like, Mom, slow down.
uh,
I'm about to have a different world here in a minute.
well, yeah, and she's grandma. Life is
Yeah,
different when you're grandma and
yeah,
grandpa.
yeah,
But so we've talked about how you guys moved in the shack. You and Randy are at it. So I'm guessing you used to get in trouble all the time, right?
yep.
And then at some point you get to move. move in with your dad? Is it because you're so out of control? You told a story about you getting in a fight and tearing down a door
Yeah.
and chasing Randy
So
down.
so from this shack, from the water thing, we relocated to a better home, not far from there, and I had appendicitis attack in the morning, and Randy and I were notorious trying to get out of school, faking it, and we weren't very successful. And Mom thought this morning I was faking it, and I wasn't. And she quickly realized I wasn't faking and rushed me to the hospital. No ambulance, just she drove me to Muncie, the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, I got there just in time when they opened me up that the appendix burst. And I got a really big scar here from that, which meant I had to stay in there longer and, just a longer recovery. And then Dad would come to visit me in the hospital.
Was Grandma okay? So they're not married at this point.
No, they're divorced.
Okay.
They're divorced. And Mom is dating Jerry. Remember Jerry Ranch?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
Jerry.
Jerry. Yeah,
Everybody used
Mom.
to say I was the apple of his eye, and
Yeah, yeah. Jerry was a saint. I didn't treat him well either. And so when I got released from the hospital, we went back home, and Randy, and again, we're very young, and we're always fighting for Dad's affection. Randy, we just starved for a man in our lives, a father figure. And Randy said, "Dad loves me more than you." Well, I went berserk. We had a BB gun. Randy saw I went berserk. He ran in his bedroom, shut the door, metal door. I got a BB gun. The butt of the gun, I broke the doorknob off. The time I opened the door, Randy's rear end's going out the window. I'm in my underwear and a t-shirt, I think. Well, Randy no further got out the window, and my butt was going through the window, and I caught him in the middle of the street, and I started beating up on him. And that would determined that I was out of control.
okay,
So
so yeah, you're beating on your brother. And then they think, okay, Grandma's like, I can't handle this
yeah,
kid. He's
yeah,
out of control. You're moving to your
yeah,
dad's, right?
yeah. And it wasn't you're leaving. If I remember, it was like, do you want to live with your father? Well, through the separation, every time we would go see Dad, it was brand new cars, nice clothes, big TV, beautiful house. What do you want to do? Oh, but at the same time, they were talking their life, and we felt disconnected
Mm-hmm.
because every time we went there, it was like, they're making all these plans that they're going to do. Like, we're going to go here, we're going to go there. We weren't included in those plans.
Right.
So when it came for me to go live with your dad, I was like, sign me up. I want to be part of that
Okay,
life.
so you wanted to move in with your dad at first.
When I was brought to me, yes,
Yeah.
yes, I want to live with Dad because I
They're living
thought
a great
I thought the
life.
grass was greener,
Yeah.
where the grass was stained
Yeah.
very bad. And
So you move in,
hmm
right? He's married to a lady named Dovey,
hmm
and my recollection of the stories is, uh, they just,
they fought all the time. She
yeah.
was insanely jealous. She was jealous of me. I was so much abuse as far as nonverbal abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't talk to me, and just I chewed ice, drove her nuts. She would go berserk. And Debbie would go off just like this, and Dad couldn't do anything to make her happy. One Christmas, Dad bought her this really beautiful piece of jewelry. Well, it wasn't ready, so he put it in a tree, and it was cosmetic jewelry to replicate what he bought her. Well, she lost her mind, and I'm witnessing all these things.
Yeah.
It was like, and it was terrible. And then, as we were talking earlier, what really broke me from living in that environment that led me to meet your mother and fall in love was Dovey accused me of not taking a bath. It was, you're 15 years old, who wants to take a bath all the time, right?
Uh,
Well, I remember taking a bath because I sat in the bathtub and I felt the vibration, whatever it was, and Dovey went in there to check it to make sure and it was dry. And I remember coming down. I was in shorts and a t-shirt, maybe socks, and it's February.
that's
And she
cold in
says, it's
Indiana.
very cold. Snow was on the ground.
Uh,
And she says, you didn't take a bath. Yes, I did. And Dad comes around the corner and she grabs, says, you tell your father you didn't take a bath. Well, I'm a big guy about being honest most of the time.
mm-hmm.
And I wasn't going to lie. I took a bath.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at her, fits crisp on my shirt. I look at Dad, and Dad's like he wasn't present.
Mm-hmm.
So I got away from Dovey, bolted to the front door, got to the front door, and Dad said one word: "Stop." I didn't stop. I didn't have any confidence in my father. I ran through the front door, ran around the neighborhood, knocked on a friend's door. I said, "Hey, I'm in trouble." Da da da. He says, "You need to go back and talk to your father." And about that time, I looked down the
That was
street.
your friend or your friend's dad?
Of my friend,
Yeah.
friend, another teenager. And so we hide behind this car as Dad's coming. The ice is on the road. You can hear the car just
Yeah.
clicking on the ice. And Dad's got electric 225, beautiful Buick. I run around the back of it, the stop sign, open the door, says, "Dad, we got to talk." He says, "Start talking." So I just unload on him what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And we get there. He says, "Get in the basement." He goes down the basement, shuts the basement door, says, "Give me your belt." I'm kind of like, I know what's going to happen. So I give him my belt, takes my hand, and he starts whipping me. Well, I'm not no dummy. I'm going to run around.
Yeah.
So I'm running around getting away from the belt. He can't catch me because I'm going around.
Yeah.
So he takes me, there's steps comes down from the basement. He lays me across the back of the steps and he starts whipping me. And I just remember looking over my shoulder and saying, "Dad, why are you whipping me? Why are you beating me?"
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Because you didn't do what I told you." Profound effect. Profound effect on me. Because we lived in fear when we lived with Dad and Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, Dad, Dad ruled the family through fear and intimidation, and that is no way to bring up children. And at the same time, we were battling for his attention. Anytime we get in trouble, we had to go out in the woods and find a stick, and Dad would beat us. And I remember putting pillows in our pants, and that does not. If you're going to think about that, it doesn't work. It was so bad that Mom created this piece of paper with our names on it. And if you got so many marks, you were going to get whipped by your dad when he got home. Because Mom was the woman that would say, "Wait till your father gets home." That's another way you shouldn't do it. You should bust their butt right when they do it. So me and Randy, hey, that's a challenge. Who get the most marks? I don't know who won, but we both got a whip. And Mom, needless to say, Mom threw that paper away. It didn't happen again.
So you had alluded to the fact that that beating that you're talking about, which sounds horrible, somehow brought you to meet my mother.
Well, I was I didn't feel love. I I didn't feel anything. I was numb. And then we go to the lakes and there's this beautiful blonde and she looks at me and we just kind of like connected. And then from there I just went back. I went brain dead. School didn't matter, nothing mattered.
Well, you were
Yeah.
thinking with another part of your body,
I
I'm
was.
guessing.
And here's another thing about my father. I came home and I had this mark on my neck. And
And you
Dad
told
said,
me this story.
"Yeah, Dad, what's that?" My dad said, "What's that?" And I was real proud. And he came back with this really inappropriate comment about it, and where it should have been put as a sign of professional sexmanship. Because I remember going with Dad when I lived with him in Muncie, and Dad would point out places where it was a good place to pick up women. So I never had that discipline of respect women. Dad was
Yeah,
always like
he's a womanizer.
to the max, to the max.
Yeah,
It was terrible.
yeah. So you meet my mother,
Hmm.
and all your blood goes from here down into here, right?
Yeah.
And so, do you guys start dating, or
Well, we see each other, and your mom can drive. I can't drive yet because she's older than me. And your mom had a car. She had a '67 Chevy Impala, had a dent in the left fender. And when it rained, it wouldn't start. And your grandpa Welch would always be one who would fix it. And I'd be like enamored by, wow, I wish I could figure out how to do that.
yeah, my grandpa was a good
Yeah,
mechanic.
he was a good man.
Yeah. So at some point, you guys obviously
Yeah,
indulge
we,
in a little premarital sex, right? Because that's how I come into the picture.
yeah.
So you get my mother pregnant, knowing the story of your dad and the life you lived. How did that go? Hey, Dad, by the way, I mean, Grandpa, I mean, how'd you lay that out to them?
That was some of it. We're talking 52 years ago, right? It's amazing.
51. No, I'll be 52 because
It'll
I'm
be
51.
52, yeah.
My bad.
So your grandma and grandpa Welsh, Dad and Dovey, your mom and I come to our house in the evening. What are we going to do? Dad was, I was really surprised. What I remember, Dad was, it was like, how are we going to do this? Because abortion never came up, and we're trying to figure out, do they get married? Do they don't? And I'm like, I'm paralyzed. I don't know. I'm 16 years old, and I've been abused most of the time verbally, nonverbal, shunned. And here I am with a woman that I'm madly in love with who's pregnant, and I'm like, my whole life is is ahead of me. And like, you're pregnant. And these are things that I remember running through my mind as a 16-year-old. She leaves the room and goes to the bathroom
In tears, right?
and tears. And immediately my manhood just shot right up. I get up, I walk in the bathroom, I accept responsibility, says, we're getting married. She's a lot better because now she's not alone. Because can you imagine how your mom felt? I'm pregnant,
Yeah, she's scared to
I'm
death.
scared to death, and I'm isolated. I'm alone.
So then, when you said we're gonna get married, did she say yes?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We loved each other. What we thought was love,
But yeah, you're
you know?
six. Yeah.
Yeah, we're 16 years old. And so we come out and we say, this is what we're going to do. And I'm working at a gas station pumping gas. I think gas was 36 cents a gallon, by the way.
The good old
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. So I'm pumping gas. And we get married. We get married January 12th, because I think your mother's birthday was January 10th. And the Justice of the Peace, and the Justice of the Peace is wearing a brown shirt with a piece of food stain right. I'll never forget it. And when we're getting married, he's lecturing me on the sanctity of marriage and it's a lifelong commitment. And I just remember staring at his shirt with food stain right there, brown,
Yeah.
out in the country. Mom didn't know anything about it. That was another thing in this process. She reads the paper. She's in Middletown, Indiana, and she reads the paper and sees a marriage license for Rick Dunnuck and Cheryl Welch.
Yeah, I was gonna say she was Welch at that time.
Yeah, and calls the house, and somehow I get on the phone. Mom straight up asked me, and I'm like, Mom, you need to talk to Dad, and I don't know what transpires. So that's how my mom found out I was getting married. She read it in the marriage license. Dad didn't say anything to her. Didn't share none of it, none of that.
Yeah, I think Grandma shared that with me
Hmm.
uh, about that.
Hmm.
Wow. Well, we're getting ready to wind down this episode right
We got a
now.
lot more.
Yeah. So next week we'll come back together and meet and now we want to kind of hear the next step.
Hmm.
As much as you want to share about being married at 16 and having a house, and there's some stories about how you paid your rent, I think would
Hmm.
be really telling. And
Yeah, we were not left to our own devices. We had help,
okay.
and every child, like you help your children, we help our children, you, and those things are just passed down knowingly from generation. Even with the bad genes that make you do stupid stuff,
Yeah.
the thing of taking care of your family
Yeah.
also hopefully passes down.
So we'll go into that the next episode.
Look
So,
forward to it.
hey, thank you so much for being part of the Battleground Believers audience. We really do uh, appreciate. We get people that make comments and heart our stuff and thumb it up and things like that. And we really do. It means a lot, especially people that are making comments about, hey, this episode touched me or I enjoyed this. Um, those kind of things, because we want to know that this is actually a ministry and that people are being blessed by the stories that are being told. And we want to make ourselves available to people so we can tell regular stories. Again, our tagline is telling his story through your story. And the idea is telling how God worked in our lives so that somebody's watching this saying, hey, I'm going through that same thing. If he can make it, I can make it. Thank you so much again to the Two Bar Blue Studio that we're not in tonight. Give a shout out to Randy Barr and Matt Carter, wherever he's at this evening. And all that call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Battleground Believers, out.
Amen. Is that better?
Yeah.